core concepts of the science of mind. And today we're going to talk about core concept number 9, immortality. Just to remind you that core concepts are the basic theories of how the universe works. We'll look at these from both the infinite perspective and from the human perspective. Remember, when we started this series, the first core concept that we talked about was that there is one. It is infinite. It is from the idea that we believe there is an infinite that everything that we talked about afterwards falls in alignment. It's a logical, natural progression. So as we get into the idea of immortality, we want to remember there's only one. And so when we look at it, we define immortality as a universal principle, not a belief, not a bargain made with the universe for good behavior. The infinite God knows only life, its eternal continuity, evolution, and expansion. It's really an interesting statement when you understand that immortality is a principle. Let's think about this for just a second. If there is an infinite, which I believe there is, that infinite has always been. That infinite will always be. That infinite is right here, right now. It's the only place it can live is in the now. So if there is an infinite and it created everything out of itself, then you and I are points of consciousness of this infinite. As points of consciousness of the infinite, we're a part of it. So if it is eternal, immortal, continually evolving and expanding, then the essence of it is also our nature. And it's not that we're rewarded by good behavior. No, it's simply because it's who we are. It's a universal principle, and we're a part of that universe. Ernest Holmes says that immortality is either a principle in nature and common to all men and women, or it has no existence whatsoever. He's really quite definite. Either there's immortality and it's a principle, which means it cannot be defied, it's always going to work that way, or it doesn't exist at all. In other words, what he's saying there is that being a principle, there's no Santa Claus in the sky that is judging you and telling you whether you're going to go here or there. You're a part of the one, and your life, which is eternal, will be to evolve and continuously expand and create more life. You see, death is a human construct, not a divine idea. The essence of every human being is an incarnation of the one, of God. And that God is at the center of our being. So the idea of dying is something that we create in human mind. The ego doesn't understand eternality. The ego doesn't understand going beyond the physical. The ego is very attached to what is happening now, and the ego loves the past. It loves to play with the future, but that's not the essence of who we are. The essence of who we are is God, the infinite, the all-knowing, ever-present beingness that creates all things. That's our nature. Our nature is eternal. This divine essence that we're talking about is eternal, and it's changeless. The divine spark that can no more die than God can die, than the infinite can die. So think about this. If something is infinite, there's nothing more, which means it's changeless. It also means it's forever. And that spark that we are, that point of consciousness that we are, is eternal and changeless. But with our view coming from the ego perspective, from the human perspective, we can't see the eternal. We only see a finite. But the more we open our eyes, the more we realize things, we can see beyond what we know today to a greater possibility. Here's the magic of that. We will be eternally seeing more because we can never get to the end of this journey. That's why the journey is about eternally becoming more. I love that. What an excitement that should give you. Because here's what happens for me. I think about that and I say, okay, I believe that I'm eternal and I'll be forever growing, becoming more, and experiencing life in ways I cannot even imagine. What's the opposite? What's the worst thing that I believe can happen to me? Well, it would be the view of an atheist, that when I die, I no longer exist. Well, is that all that bad? When I die, I no longer exist? If you've ever had surgery and they give you anesthesia, once they give you the anesthesia, you don't know anything. That's what I believe atheism would be like. But I don't believe that. I believe within the core of all that I am a part of that eternal, changeless, divine spark. And that's what that gives me the greatest joy. So my life on earth as me is to expand and grow. Immortality means the eternal continuance and self-knowingness of the individualized consciousness, forever expanding as one grows in awareness. We are always going to be growing. We're always going to be expanding. And I believe when we talk about the eternal continuance, that means that the point of consciousness that I am and that you are, it remains individualized and it continues to grow for eternity. So the essence of who you are, the essence of what you become, the awareness of what you become, you never lose it. You're continually expanding and building on that. Now, Lee in the next realm will not look like this Lee. He will not have the same personality, but there'll be an energetic about him, I believe, that is the same. I think a lot of people talk about soul groups. I don't know if it's true or not, but there are people that you meet that when you meet them, the energetic that they put out, you say, I've known them before. How is it that we're so in tune with each other? It's just one way of looking at it. I don't know that that's the truth. Within each of us is an irrefutable recognition that the present experience is only one spiral of an eternal journey toward the light. Something within us simply knows that it must be so. I love the idea that within us there's a spiral recognition of an eternal journey. It's not a linear journey, it's a spiral journey. At the core of all that I am, when I go into meditation, I know without a shadow of a doubt that I'm more than this physical body and I'm more than this ego. Here's the thing. Recently, I've had a person very close to me, my prayer partner, Marcia. She died in December. So it's a couple months. And what I do is I say this. I believe that when the body and the mind no longer serve the soul, that divine spark, and its ability to progress, the soul releases the body and the mind to go on with its journey. The soul is here for expansion. And when that expansion is complete, the body begins to deteriorate and then the soul releases it. I was talking with someone just on the phone before I got here to give you this talk. And she was telling me that someone that she knew that she talked with twice a week for the last 2 years made their transition unexpectedly. And I says, it really wasn't unexpectedly. The soul knew it was coming, but you didn't know what the soul wanted. You only saw an aspect of them that happened with your conversations. Because I truly believe, and this is quite a statement, that all death is suicide. I think that we die when we stop having the desire to create more. Some people do it in this way, other people do it in that way. There are infinite numbers of ways to die. But suicide, to me, is losing the desire to create. As long as we're creating, there's a zest for life. There's a juice within you. And I believe that you will have that and you will live that life fully as long as you've got the juice. That's what I believe. I don't know, what do you believe about that? I would love for you to write your comments. I would love to know what you believe. Because if I know what you believe, I can help get clarity for myself and get clarity for you. So whatever you have a question on about what we're talking about, put it in the comments. And I'll make sure I respond to it, either through a talk during the week or I'll respond through a written communication with you. So what I want to do with you right now is I would love for you to read the statement with me. And as you read it out loud with me, think about the words that we're saying together and see how they resonate with you. We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding. We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny, for we understand that the life of all is God. Think about that. The eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever expanding. When I read that, it gives me great comfort in knowing that I'm on an eternal journey and I get to choose how I do it. I'd love to hear from you. Why? Because I know if you're watching this, you're interesting. I know that we're a vibrational match. Know that you're never alone. There are always people out there at your level. Until next week, create a great one.